Hey everyone, a fragrance that is called Fascination is indeed fascinating and it's really remarkable. Not only that, it is very fresh and energizing as well as inviting and exquisite. If you want to know more why I mentioned all these adjectives to this fragrance called Fascination, please stay put and keep watching. My name is Red. Let's do this. Today's fragrance review would be about Paris Corner Emir's Celestial series, The Fascination, on an Extrait de Parfum concentration that was released last year, 2022. And it has the top notes of tangerine, bergamot, grapefruit, and the middle notes of damask rose and blackcurrant, while the base notes are patchouli, vanilla, sandalwood, musk, and labdanum. But I can also smell some other notes in this composition. I mentioned a while ago that Fascination is really fascinating because this fragrance, an Extrait de Parfum, is traveling on 3 stages. And at the same time, it reminded me of 2 fragrances out there in the market. One is an exclusive niche fragrance, and another one is a vintage fragrance. It is not exactly the same as those 2 fragrances, but it's giving me an accord or some vibe that there's some impressions of Fascination that smells like these 2 fragrances. Now, it is said that Fascination Extrait de Parfum is said to be a replica or clone of XERJOFF's RICHWOOD. That's the box, some information at the back. That's the logo of Emir. If I open the box, that's where the bottle sits. It's a nice presentation of the box itself, and I like the color. The color is kind of like a chocolate brown in between of purple, and the bottle is the same color as the box. And the cap is not too heavy, it's just light. I think it's probably made of plastic. A good blast, properly distributed. The smell itself is really beautiful. The box and the bottle presentation is really outstanding and looks durable. Initially, my first impression upon spray, I can really smell beautiful citruses coming from tangerine, grapefruit, and then there is an impression of lemon. Very smooth. This is refreshing, energizing. Yo guys, I'm gonna spray Fascination again, and this time would be on my skin. Let's see on my wrist. There's already a blast of smoothness along with a little rough edges that is a bit waxy, that I think is coming from kind of like a rind impression of tangerine and grapefruit. Then some suede aspect on this one. With a blend of the rose and blackcurrant along with the tangerine, I can already sense that there is a hint of one fragrance, a vintage one, still circulating in the market. You can still buy this online, and this is the vintage fragrance from the house of Davidoff called ZINO, Z-I-N-O, ZINO Davidoff. I think the impression of ZINO Davidoff here will fade away in a few minutes. It becomes a fragrance of its own for the next 10 minutes. Now, there's no powdery impression or vibe on my skin, which is thank goodness, because I love a fragrance that is not too powdery on my skin. Fascination is already sitting 20 minutes or so on the top of my left hand, but the initial spray was here. So the patchouli and the beautiful creaminess of sandalwood, those 2 combined together adds a sensuality and sexiness in this fragrance composition. Now, the sweetness are coming from vanilla, and I can smell tonka bean here along with amber and labdanum. So labdanum here and amber is giving this fragrance a heated or a warm tone that makes this fragrance very good to wear on cold seasons, while the vanilla here and the tonka bean is giving this fragrance an allure. It's an allure, attraction, magnetism to people around you. This is very inviting. Indeed, Fascination Extrait de Parfum really traveled on its 3 stages in the fragrance journey, because as I mentioned, the top stage is a beautiful combination of all the citruses with an impression of the rind of tangerine, bergamot, and grapefruit, but then it is also very juicy, and there's also this impression of lemon and some suede tone coming from the aroma of lavender that makes it really like alive and aromatic. Now on the middle stage, or even from the top going to the mid, the transition comes to the musk rose with the blackcurrant that adds more complexity in the fragrance composition, but it is really smooth, it is refreshing, it smells clean, and there is this quite barbershop tone to it, but it is rich smelling, like very wealthy smelling, and that combination of the musk rose, blackcurrant, and the citrus zest is phenomenal. It gives me an impression of ZINO Davidoff, and at the same time it is moving into another fragrance impression by the middle stage heading towards the base. It gives me an impression of a Chanel less exclusive called Coromandel. So I still have like about 20 ml of Chanel's Coromandel, and this is the vintage version of Chanel's Coromandel. Now this Fascination doesn't smell exactly the same as Chanel's Coromandel. There is just an impression and a little similarity when it comes to the middle stage heading down to the base notes, but it's just short-lived. It's kind of like only 10 minutes of the impression of Chanel's less exclusive Coromandel, the vintage Eau de Parfum, on its likeness to Fascination Extrait de Parfum. It is not exactly the same as the Coromandel, because Chanel's Coromandel EDP, the old formulation that I have here, initially smells aldehydic and a little bit animalic and super concentrated. Now Fascination doesn't have this soft animalic tone coming from the Coromandel, and not even the aldehydes. So it's only like 10 minutes of similarity in the transition from the middle to the base. Now when it comes to the base notes or the base stage, this Fascination is a fragrance on its own. Fascination Extrait de Parfum gives me more confidence. It exudes sensuality, attraction, very tempting and quite addicting to wear. It is quite handsome, if I would describe the fragrance itself. It is very good looking, and this will get attention, this will get you noticed. This Fascination Extrait de Parfum, even if it's a Middle Eastern fragrance, this truly deserves a trophy of accolade and praise. This is award-winning with its beautiful, smooth, well-refined, well-balanced composition. Age ranges of 20 years old going to 50 years old and above. Occasions for Fascination would be a date scenario. It would be good on partying. You can also wear this in formal occasions, and you can wear this also on casual. I'm not sure if you can wear this on work, maybe just lessen your spray. And then for the seasons, this is perfect for fall and winter season. Not on the extreme winter, but fall all the way, this is the best, and even in springtime. As we all know, musk has always been like a base note in a fragrance. The musk here just closes the story of this beautiful refined composition of Fascination. Ladies can also wear Fascination. If you were able to wear a Coromandel by Chanel, then there's no problem wearing Fascination. Yo, finally for the performance on the scent trail, it lasted for like 30 minutes while the projection goes on 45 minutes, and then the longevity on my skin goes as far as 6 hours with a close to skin for the next 2 to 3 hours, and then after the 9-hour margin, it is super faint already on my skin. But I don't mind, because this is a beautiful scent. This is kind of like a combination of a little vibe from ZINO Davidoff that then goes to a Chanel Coromandel, and then by the mid to base it becomes a fragrance of its own. But then, you know guys, I haven't smelled RICHWOOD. If RICHWOOD really is better than this one, then RICHWOOD is close to masterpiece. I would rank Fascination Extrait de Parfum a 9 out of 10. If you find this review quite helpful, please subscribe to my channel, and I would truly appreciate it. Nothing negative I would say about Fascination. This is almost perfect, 9 out of 10. So until the next video, I cannot throw the bottle, I just throw the cap. My name is Red, to my YouTube channel. Let's do this.